Welcome back to the channel. Currently out here, New York City, strolling. It's a hot one. It's a really hot one in NYC today. But I wanted to share something with you guys. And this is something that I feel that I know that everyone should be able to commit to. If you're able to commit to this, your quality of life will improve. And the thing that I am speaking of is learning, cultivating, sharpening your tool of silence. Learning and cultivating and sharpening your tool of silence. Learning to use your silence as a powerful tool in situations, because in life there are times when we can say, communicate, convey something to another, and no matter how you say it, no matter which language, no matter if you write it down, take a picture, they won't get it. They just won't get it, and you become somewhat exhausted. You're tired. You're just pretty much just done. You get to the point where you're done explaining and you're done rattling your brain, trying to come up with the right words to get the message, get your point across. And you're only left with silence, You're only left with that at that point. You say, you know what? I don't got nothing else to say. I don't know how else I can, say this. I don't know. You're really just at a loss of words, And I know that we've all been there. Even if we found more words and tried to convey the message again, try to communicate it again, because a lot of times it's it's somebody that you love and you care about, possibly, or something that's very, very important, and you feel like it's imperative that this message gets across in this way so that they can understand exactly what's going on, and they can understand exactly your point and perspective of why and what and who and whatever, So when you get to that point of where you're lost for words, you got to commit to it. You got to commit to silence and say, not even say, well, internally to yourself, I got nothing to say about this anymore. I'm going to let the silence do its work. Because that's the thing. Just because it's silent, it doesn't mean that there's no work being done. The silence actually gets a whole lot accomplished. The silence gets all things accomplished. The silence gets all things accomplished. And when you understand that, you'll have no problem with not attempting to get your point across. If you say it one time, you'll say it one time, and so be it. And if it needs revision, you'll revise it. You're not being stubborn. The silence is not that you're being stubborn. The silence is a tool that you're using. You're not using it as a weapon. You're not weaponizing it to hurt anyone. You're not weaponizing it to punish anyone. Your silence is you pretty much professing your peace. Your silence is pretty much you, saying that I come in peace. There's no argument. When you give them silence, there's no argument. And at times, they may act as if you're injuring them or you're punishing them. But you got to commit to the silence for it to be effective. You know, you have to commit to it. Let them go through their motions. Let them hear in the silence. Let them go through the motions. Let whatever they have to go through to understand whatever's going on, and whatever conclusion they draw from the silence, you got to be okay with it, because it's fine. But the one thing is, you can't be all bent out of shape and exhausted from constantly speaking and communicating, or attempting to communicate something that is falling on deaf ears, or falling on ears that aren't interested, on ears that have no interest, have no care in what you're saying. You know, they may hear you, but they're not listening. You know, they're not even processing it. They have no intention on processing it to that point where, you know, you guys can have an understanding. You know, so you have to commit to the silence, and don't worry. Let the silence take care of whatever needs to be taken care of. Because the silence, you know, although we're speaking about silence, right? And we've all heard this before, and if not, you're gonna hear it today, right? The silence speaks volumes, big volumes. The silence is very loud. You know, it says things that your words can't say. So the silence is very important. You know, the silence gets the message across in ways that your words clearly cannot. So allow it to do its work, and don't stress out anymore when you're trying to get a point across. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. Just, you know, live your life and cultivate the tool of silence. Cultivate the commitment, because, you know, you may do it one time and then you may be triggered by, you know, something in the situation, and it brings you back out. It draws you out of the silence, and now you're once again, you know, trying to get your point across with words. You got to commit to it and allow it to be. So you got to have confidence. You must have confidence, and the silence is also where the confidence works. All right, so just wanted to share that with you guys, because I know it can be, you know, very stressful communicating at times. I'm sure over, you know, all times, people have found difficulty in communicating with other people, you know, and being misunderstood when they're saying exactly what they're saying. But it's okay, because everybody hears and processes things differently. So that's why it's okay. But don't ever forget how powerful your silence is. Your silence is vital, and it's a powerful tool, if you cultivate it, that you can use in life. And you'll respect yourself more for it, and you'll have a whole lot more energy to do other things, you know. Stay tuned for more on the channel. Peace and God bless.